Hi, morning everybody. 6 o'clock in the morning. I've just come back from doing some lactic intervals. Just starting to work on my lactic energy system, but got somewhere I have to be early this morning, so everything's off to an early start. Just quick musing for this morning. Saw something on Facebook yesterday, I think it was, and it said, "Fat is hard, or being fat is hard. Losing fat is hard. Just choose your hard." And if you think about the logic of that, it kind of makes good sense. The problem is the first part, being fat is hard. So the reason I say that's where the problem is because it kind of depends on whether you know you're fat or overweight or just unhealthy. You can read anything into that before it starts to become a problem. So if you know your cycles of change, you know that generally with anything of change, we go from pre-contemplation to planning to action to maintenance, and then either we keep that up or we have a relapse or we rethink our goals. So I would say that that expression, being fat is hard, losing fat is hard, only makes sense if you are in the contemplation phase. So if something has happened, you've realized that you have to lose some weight, you've realized you have to make a change, and using weight loss as an example here, but it could be any change, any behavioral change. And you've gone to that contemplation phase and you realize you need to make a change. Yes, that's where you start to realize that you have potentially a difficulty, and it's probably just as easy to go from that phase into planning what you're going to do about it and then moving into the action phase. But as I say, that's only true once you've reached contemplation. The majority of people haven't yet had that diabetes diagnosis or pre-diabetes diagnosis, or they haven't had a heart condition, or they haven't had any of these warning signs and their doctors haven't given them the warning, and they're kind of in that pre-contemplation phase. I see it all the time, just people walking around not realizing they have a health problem. And if you're in pre-contemplation, and I'm speaking from experience here, having been severely overweight from, well, carried a spare tire around in my early 20s. It became a tractor tire in my late 20s, and soon after that it was a couple of bus tires and a tractor tire before I started to make some changes very late into my 30s, in fact just before my 40th birthday. So I know that there's that denial phase, if you want a better word, or that pre-contemplation phase is easy. You don't feel unwell, and you just don't notice the weight that's on you. So for me, I think the hardest challenge for anyone in the health and wellness industry and well-being industry is to try to find, or try to open the eyes, if you like, of people that are in that pre-contemplation phase, and just shift them slightly, just shift them from pre-contemplation to contemplation. Because once you've realized that there's a problem and it could be affecting you in many ways, then more likely to do something about it, and then you get to that point where being in that condition is just as difficult as changing it, so you might as well make the change. So this message goes to anybody that really has difficulty getting in and out of bed, anybody that has difficulty getting in and out of a chair, so going from seating to standing and standing to sitting, or if you're in a position where you really can't walk a gentle walk for more than 25 minutes without becoming slightly out of breath, then you're probably carrying a little bit too much weight, and you're probably underfit, and you're probably not moving enough. So all I want to say to those people is, if you're in that phase, realize, as I say, if you're not getting up and down properly, if 20-25 minutes steady pace walk leaves you out of breath, that you probably need to make a change. Have a good look at yourself, and just and where you are in life, and just have a look to see whether you can start contemplating doing something. I'm not saying jump into action, I'm saying start to make a contemplation, start to look at yourself and go, do I need to do something about my health at the moment? Do I need to do something to put myself into a better place? And if the answer is yes, then start planning how you're going to tackle that and what you're going to do about it. Have a good day, everybody. Cheers.